Stardom doesn't get born overnight. There's plenty of people who worked hard to make their way up to one of the highest accomplished for their career. Right now, a great example is Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo was born on December 6, 1994 in Athens, Greece. Life was rough for the entirety of his childhood as he and his family were impoverished and Giannis' parents found themselves bouncing around jobs. From the age of 6 or 7 to 17, Giannis was finding himself selling a numerous amount of consumer goods as he wouldn't give up to help his parents out. While living in poverty, he and his family were always in fear that they would be evicted out of their own home and sometimes didn't have enough to pay up for their due rent. Growing up, Giannis wanted to be a soccer player just like his dad. When it was time to choose between the two sports, Giannis was going to pick soccer until his basketball coach, Vasilis Xenakis, offered him the chance of making money in basketball. His siblings as well would soon follow in the path towards basketball. Even in the world of basketball, their low class had given them family limitations. Now Giannis, after all those years later, reflected on these moments with ESPN. Those moments back then, they were beautiful, man. Going through the struggle and making it out of it and seeing your family doing good now is unbelievable. I remember those moments, and I'm happy I went through those moments. We might not have had a lot of money, but at least we were happy. When we had problems, we would gather in the same room and have fun laughing. Despite the difficulties we were going through, that for sure made us stronger. Giannis then went on to play in the Greek second-tier basketball league, and NBA scouts took note of him due to his generational potential and physical size. June 27, 2013, the Milwaukee Bucks took on an unknown project player, Giannis Antetokounmpo from Greece, with the 15th pick in the 2013 NBA draft. Many scouts considered him to have immense potential, but there were a couple questions at the time about how he would hold up against NBA-level competition and the lack of gameplay footage. Despite Giannis' understandable concerns, the Bucks took a gamble on the rookie. Giannis debuted at Madison Square Garden on the court in an actual NBA game on October 30th, 2013. During the 2013 season, he played 77 games and averaged about 24.6 minutes a game. On the box score stat sheet, he averaged 6.8 points per game, 4.4 rebounds per game, 1.9 assists per game, 0.8 steals per game, and 0.8 blocks per game. Throughout the season, he showed flashes of his potential, giving Bucks fans something to look forward to, even with his limited offensive success and play style. Giannis and the Bucks finished the 2013 NBA season with an expected abysmal 15-67 record. Despite this, he earned himself to be on the all-rookie second team. In 2014, Giannis was coming off a rookie season with flashes and some playing time. He was opting to be an intimidating, fierce, non-babyface player in his sophomore season under new head coach Jason Kidd. While building this aggressive demeanor, Kidd was also challenging and working with Giannis pretty frequently, while he had to deal with his unique psychological coaching philosophy and coaching in general based on what others had said about Jason Kidd. Kidd had always thought Giannis could be like the NBA greats, but first they had to reevaluate Giannis after a terrible preseason game versus Cleveland. With the 2014 and 15 season underway, the coaches wanted more from Giannis, but he was still improving and showing confidence in his abilities and performances. Giannis would still improve statistically, but one of his main strengths this season was his insane length and speed. What's not good is Giannis' field goal percentage when you ignore his shots right at the rim. That number is about 32%. His three-point numbers are even worse. Out of a mere 45 attempted threes all season, Giannis made but 7 all year. In the 2015 season, he averaged 18.8 points per game, 8.6 rebounds per game, and 7.2 assists per game in his final 28 games. Giannis had even cut down on his turnovers as well. Some of his weaknesses were three-point shooting, but there was an increased amount of confidence in shooting the long ball by the end of the season, shooting 26% from deep, and it wasn't ideal for a team that has dealt with spacing issues for a while now. After shooting 74% from the free throw line in the 2014 through 15 season, Giannis' free throw percentage dipped as he shot 72% from the charity stripe on the season. Something that went unnoticed was his third place finish in the Most Improved Player award when they simply gave him the ball to go make plays. After his 2016 season, on the statistics table, the noticeable trend was that his numbers only kept improving per season. This season, he even led the Bucks in all 5 major statistical categories. One sentence was able to show how great he was this season. For the first time in NBA history, a player was able to finish the season in the top 20 league-wide in all 5 major statistical categories, and that player was Giannis. While it's great he was doing well on the court statistically and physically, he showed signs of being a leader for the team. The only major flaw to Giannis' game this season was his underwhelming three-point shooting, as it still becomes a struggle for him to knock it down from deep. In 2017, The element of Giannis's play was evident as he put together a career high in terms of both points per game with 26.9 and field goal percentage 52.9. In fact, from inside 5 feet, Giannis boasted a formidable 70.2% success rate. Along with building on his scoring, Giannis averaged a career best marks in rebounding with 10 and minutes per game with 36.8, while also excelling in the advanced categories of offensive rating 108.8, net rating 3.5, and usage of 31.2%. Not only did Giannis's 10 boards per game allow him to average a double-double for the first time in his career, but they act as further evidence of him asserting himself around the basket on both ends. The downside of this season was his lingering injury problems. Giannis continued to suffer from soreness in his right knee early in the year, requiring occasional games off. He managed to surprisingly play in 75 games. He missed a single game for the issue in both November and December, before sitting out 2 games in January. Although he wasn't forced to miss as many games due to ankle issues, the 3 games missed by Giannis late in the season came as a result of sprains. In fact, Giannis rolling his ankle became an increasingly common sight. Outside of injuries, inconsistencies with his jump shot due to his passiveness of not driving to the rim. However, after this season, he was able to take home 3 awards: Most Improved Player, All-NBA Second Team, and All-Defensive Second Team. In the 2018 season, Giannis put on a career-changing season for his team and legacy. Giannis held the honor of being on the All-NBA First Team, All-Defensive First Team, and the winner of the 2018 MVP. With new head coach Mike Budenholzer, his philosophies made Giannis both a positive asset on offense and defense. Giannis didn't have many struggles during the MVP season, but his three-point shooting early attempts and the three-point made percentage were down before he came alive during the latter of the second half of the season. The main concern was his free throws. During the playoffs, his free throws dropped significantly, and it may be attributed to pressure in a high-stakes moment. In the playoffs, especially against the Raptors, he had a hard time dealing with double teams. During the 2019-20 season, Giannis was still a dominant force, but sadly his season was over during the 2020 playoffs after an injury took him out. In 2021, Giannis was playing well throughout the season, and at the worst time too, he suffered a gruesome-looking knee injury. It was only precisely a week before the finals started when Giannis hyperextended his knee to the point where fans thought his season was over. Despite the injury, he returned and played in Game 1 against the Suns. The injury didn't look to slow him down, but the Bucks were slow to start the series, finishing 0-2 after 2 games. Over the next 4 games, the Bucks went undefeated, and Giannis was an immense puzzle piece to the franchise's second-ever championship. He stepped up when it mattered the most during adversity and proved tricky for the Suns to handle. Giannis felt very reflective towards his longtime teammate Chris Middleton and how he wanted to win a championship right instead of going to a super team. Ever since his first ring, Giannis has continued to play well offensively and defensively, but the hurdle he hasn't been able to overcome has been the lack of playoff success over these last few years. During the 2023-24 season, Giannis has named injuries, multiple coaching changes, and mental health as factors for why he feels different. In a quote, he says, "It's been tough, but at the end of the day, I think when you face adversity, that you excel the most. So I'm just trying to, as a leader, as a basketball player, as a person, just trying to do what I do. I keep on enjoying the game of basketball. Keep on hanging in there, keep on trying to improve my game, doing the right thing, and hopefully, step by step, I will get where I want to go, and I'll be able to help the team get where we want to go." More recently, as it relates to injuries, Giannis had suffered a non-contact calf strain and was forced to miss the playoffs as the Bucks were eliminated in the first round, ending his season. Shortly after the Bucks were officially eliminated from the playoffs, he said he never worked as hard to get back into participating in a game and felt like he let his team down by being unable to participate in any games. In conclusion, Giannis had come from a background of poverty in Greece growing up. He had learned to play basketball, which got him to play for Greece and now the Bucks currently. He has been off to a strong start with his career and legacy while getting the dream goal of a championship. After the championship, things haven't been going as smoothly as hoped for Giannis as he enters the 2024 offseason, hoping and working to get better results next season.